Hey everyone! All right.
Hey, I was grooving to the intro music there. Hope you don't mind me doing that.
You've been on the groovy mood this whole time.
Oh yeah.
There we go. All right. Well, welcome to the Mighty Quinn Show. I have my guest again, Grant. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, and he's also a podcaster himself. You want to talk about that before we start?
Yeah, sure. So me and some guys do a podcast called Old Games in the Basement. It's once every month. It's kind of casual. We kind of just let ourselves go. We go loose and we just talk about games. It's usually a specific topic. Last topic we had was about cheat codes. It's about like an hour and a half of us just going wild, basically. So check us
Oh
out. Search
man!
Old Games in the Basement on Spotify. It should be the first result.
All right, right on. And before we even start,
Your mic went muted, my good sir.
wait. All right. So anyway, yeah, I think the only code I know is the freaking supersonic code from Sonic 2.
You definitely know the Konami code: up down down left right B A star.
Like all I gotta do is look at the freaking what was that, Austin Creed in his channel. If yeah, so like let's say up down down, then discontinue the script right there. But yeah, like the first time I actually remember the code was Sonic 2. Um,
Mhm.
And I've been in the game without like Supersonic at all. Like it's just I
Yeah,
never beaten the game as Supersonic. So here I
sure.
am reading the old this Cheat Code Central
Oh God,
website.
that's a blast from the past right there.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so press this, hit this number, and like and especially how the configuration is. It was like using a padlock with the
Mhm.
controller.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was a pretty fun time, especially with the Ticos. And let me tell you, the different phone numbers from Grand Theft Auto 4.
Mhm.
I still it's in my stories, but I still got all the phone numbers to get the different cheats. Jeez, there was like so many creative ways to cheat through a game, and I think
Uh-huh.
a dial a cheat was actually pretty creative.
Yeah. Definitely check out our podcast episode if you haven't seen it. We go over a lot of them. I didn't have that many on that episode. That topic was actually not my idea, admittedly. I want to say that was Ross's
Really.
idea. Maybe I can't remember. I think it was either Ross or maybe Sinan came up with that idea. I can't remember. Don't quote me. I just contributed a couple to that episode. So
Well, I definitely check it out. As soon as we get done with this podcast, because I do watch your shows. I mean, like listen to your shows. So anyway,
mhm.
so today, well, tonight, should I say today? Tonight?
It's
Today is
tonight.
tonight anyway.
Either way, yeah. Tonight is today. Today is gonna be tonight, or just go on with it.
Right. Got up there like, but
Yeah. All right.
so tonight I really wanted to talk about something I really wanted to share with this because you guys did it on your show, so I thought I'd bring it here in its own
Mhm.
similarity. But I've been a big fighting game fan for a very long time. My first game I ever played was the original Mortal Kombat on the Sega
Mm.
Genesis.
Oh wow.
The ones with the shit graphics. That
Yeah. Not the
I mean,
arcade
at
ones.
least right. I mean, at least I mean, this is like way before I knew the fatalities. This is way
Mhm.
before I knew any mode of violence. All I knew was punch, 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 punch,
Yeah.
punch, punch, punch until Scorpion wins. And
Hey, don't forget about the kick.
right. Oh no, like I was a big button masher
Mm.
back then. I mean, at least back then, instead
All right.
until my mind literally became cognitive. So okay, so if you use this, then do that move, you might get a combo or two, and you'll
Yeah.
end the match in like probably 5 seconds. But anyway, I then I which I kind of came around going to this arcade place called the Red Baron at Franklin
Oh
Park
yeah.
in
Over.
Toledo,
Yep. I was gonna say over at the mall there, right? I remember. Red
and
Baron.
um and I used to go to some of the gaming tournaments
Hmm.
Like I used to like even sign up for like when Killer Instinct came out, when
Oh
Street
gosh.
Fighter Alpha came out, when Tekken 2 showed up. Like like the fighting game community back then in the 90s was fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
you're a few
and,
years older than me, right? So I don't really remember that,
yes.
unfortunately.
Well, I'm just telling you how that experience. Like
Hmm.
at least how that experience was fantastic. Like
Hmm.
especially the salt was
The salt.
far more thick around that. Like because when you lose, you go to literally try to punch the damn television. Like, I was
That
like,
the
what the
rage
full
was
more ever
real.
do to you? Like right. Oh, dude. Like I mean, I got decked a couple of times. When I
Mhm,
was like doing a couple of games.
mhm.
Like it was intense back then, but now
People
we
were
got
serious
our
about it.
you're right. Like you got your online games nowadays. Especially people playing online. It's either you're getting cheated by the player or the freaking lag. One of the
Yeah,
two.
somebody's schooling you, no matter what.
Right, right. Um, but going back to Red Baron, like the first time I knew of wrestling was the WrestleMania, the arcade game.
Ah, yeah.
And Russ would, I'm sure, would elaborate
If
how
Ross was
cool
here,
and fun
yeah.
was it. Yeah, like how cool, how fun, how fantastically wacky that game was.
Mhm.
My time was far more invested than some of the other fighting games they had, fighting game cabinets they had in that place. So I would choose Bret the Hitman Hart, one of my favorite wrestlers of
Mhm.
all time, and and just like Mortal Kombat, just mash
Yeah.
buttons until I figure something out.
Right, yeah, it's like
and
some of the games didn't have, like, weren't very combo centric. Some of them were much more like you got a couple different buttons and just try to figure stuff out. So,
right, and the wild part was like I think WrestleMania the arcade game was probably the most accessible with combos
yeah, definitely.
because like all you
From
gotta
what
do
I
is like
remember
punch,
at least.
punch, kick, Irish whip, clothesline, bam.
Mhm.
You're working your way through a lot of that stuff. Especially they're using the digitized graphics with
Yeah.
like some of the stuff they use for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, where they actually
And
use, like, real actors and stuff like that to do motion capture.
right. And it punching the stuffing out some of the characters was even funnier. You got Undertaker, like when you hit him, bats fly out. Razor Ramon
Oh,
was
yeah.
the nastiest. Like as soon as you hit him, grease or whatever kind of sweat flies off of him. Like
Ugh, I honestly I haven't played that game since I was maybe 10. I played it like one time in the arcades. It was probably Red Baron actually.
okay,
And I only vaguely remember the game, to be completely honest with you. I just remember the wrestlers. I remember it being fun and my 10-year-old brain could understand it, so therefore it was a good game.
right. All right, hold on just a second. I'm trying to
Yeah.
go back to my video here.
Hmm.
All right. I mean, I'd be looking at my page like every damn time for no apparent reason at all. Do I look that attractive, Quinn? I don't know. All right, so anyway, yeah, and that's what got me invested in playing some wrestling games. You also got the legendary 64 series with like WCW versus
Oh,
NWO. You got
yeah.
your WWF WrestleMania. You got your No Mercy.
I think
Especially
we
you got your
played.
PlayStation. All right, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say I remember playing one of them as a kid. A friend had it. I want to say it was No Mercy, and it
Oh
was
yeah,
it was pretty good. Yeah, like you could have like four people up in the ring at once, and just you could go
yeah.
around and like derp around. It was a lot of fun. I'll have to go back and play it one of these days. That's all I had to say about that.
Right. And I think I had the most fun with WCW versus NWO Revenge.
Okay,
Their their sequel, pretty much their update. I think that was like the Street Fighter 2 Turbo at the time.
was it for wrestling games?
Yeah, like yeah, like because a lot of things was kind of glitched up on Revenge compared to their original counterpart, with World Tour.
Hmm.
Because like I always what was my main on that game? Um, Oh, it was Red Sting for the Red
Mhm.
NWO.
Okay.
Yeah, and here I am just starting with a bat, and here I am just bashing my brother with the bat at the start of the match. um, but like me growing up with some of the wrestling games out of the years, do I consider it comparing to fighting games? Yes, but not quite.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much the main topic for today. You said right is like are wrestling
Right,
games fighting games, which I'm of the belief that objectively speaking, not objectively, but like literally they have to be right. Like literally, it's about
right,
combat. It's about a conflict. It's about winning, and by depleting the enemy's life force. That is what a fighting game is to me, right?
right,
So I think there's subcategories of fighting. Like you have platform fighters like Super Smash Brothers. Wrestling,
right,
you have one-on-one fighters like the traditional Street Fighter kind. But wrestling, I would say, is
right.
like a subcategory of fighting. So therefore, it's a fighting game. It's just not a one-on-one fighting game usually. Usually,
Well, I could say out of this technicality, um, it's actually an arena fighter
yeah, yeah. Which that's another one too. You have
because
like those
yeah.
I was gonna
Go
say like
ahead.
you have like stuff like the Naruto and I think the new Demon Slayer game. Those were like arena fighters. Like you have one or a couple characters in a ring or like a big like area, right? So that's like a
Right,
literal like ring fighter is what like wrestling would be. While I would say like an arena fighter, well, I guess ring and arena are the same things, really, when it comes down to it. Just when I think arena, I think bigger than a ring. I think with a ring, it's like it's a squared box, while like an arena would
right,
be like an area, which I guess a ring would be a arena, but an arena wouldn't necessarily be a ring. Does that make
right.
sense?
Well, it kind of do because the reason why I technically consider it an arena fighter because even with the evolution of what we have now, you can actually
Mhm.
go outside of the ring and go by the
Oh yeah,
jumbotron. Or, you could go in the back and beat somebody in the backstage and all that such.
that's true.
They actually technically put more depth in that context
Uh huh.
to to its own genre. So I would technically consider it an arena fighter.
Yeah,
But a lot of
I
people
guess
would
that
say, but
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, you're right though, because yeah, you can step out of the arenas in those games, so it's like, or the ring out of those games, so it's like, yeah, you go beyond the box in that case. All I had to say about that.
right. So and this is what, and it's kind of how I learned it when I watched games like Tekken or
Hmm.
the 2000s Mortal Kombat games like
Hmm.
Deception or Armageddon.
Yeah,
Like even going back to Dreamcast, Power Stone, one of my
yeah.
favorite games of all
Ooh,
fighting games
Power
of all
Stone.
time.
Ooh, Power Stone. That's where it's
That
at.
yeah, I mean, that basically would say that's the perfect example of an arena fighter,
When are
fighter.
they gonna
Excuse me.
remake Power Stone? Like literally, Capcom, what are you doing? At least re-release, if not remake Power Stone. I'm telling you, just do it.
S'il vous plaît, monsieur. Merci, merci.
Yes,
So,
merci beaucoup.
right. So yeah, like, yeah, just comparing those type of games to some of the wrestling games we have today, I would totally use that. Like even some of the WWE Universe games, like for mobile phones, they would go out their way and like go out their strand of making it a fighter.
Mm.
So
When you say making it a
yeah, I mean
fighter,
like
what
it's
do you mean by that?
like WWE All Star would be a
Okay.
perfect example. Like that was kind of going back to the element of WrestleMania, the arcade game. And I think WWE All Star came around the 360 or PS3 era.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a really fun game. So something you want to
Yeah.
like watch on YouTube. It's actually pretty fun stuff.
Yeah, I didn't play
Um,
that one.
mhm. Let's see, like the WWE Immortals on the phone. Like they even use like some of the elements from Mortal Kombat and or Injustice
Mhm.
with some of the wrestlers. Like
So they actually
like
do
they
like one-on-one, like side-scrolling style fighter, like Street Fighter? Oh, that's interesting.
more like Injustice, like
Yeah.
Injustice One.
So it's like it's side
And
scroller, but it has like environmental actions basically, like where you can interact with the environment.
um, no, because like with the mobile phones, like all you gotta do is like tap, pretty much. Like
Okay.
I mean, that would be cool if they actually had some interactions like that, but you
Yeah.
know, they're bitches.
They're bitches.
But so it's just like, dude, I want to hit somebody in a chair in the living forest. Can I do that at least?
Nope.
Are there
Not
chairs
in
in
this
the living
game apparently.
forest? Like, right. I mean, I only bought WWE Immortals because they had Johnny Cage as a guest character, and
Oh really?
hitting the big hitting the Big Show in the dance was it's so glorifying. Just like
Oh. I didn't know that he was in there. That's interesting that they did that crossover. But
yeah,
it kind of makes sense because Johnny Cage is like an action like movie type hero in the actual Mortal Kombat universe. So like him showing up in like a something like WWE, which is largely hey, we got somebody else here.
Hey, Quin.
hey, we got a special guest. Hey, how you doing?
Good. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah, we hear
awesome.
you just fine. All right, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
First off, my apology for being late earlier, guys. I was at work. Just got off work not long ago.
All right, that's understandable.
Anyways, I'm Tony Lewis. I've been a wrestling fan for longer than I remember since I was a little kid. And
All right.
I'm also a gamer and do a bunch of other things too. I cosplay. I do a lot of stuff and been a happy married man for like over 8 years now. 7, 8 years
Nice.
All right, right on. All right, so tonight's subject, we mainly are talking about wrestling games and fighting games. And
now.
right now, we're like in this debate if wrestling games technically be considered fighting games.
Okay.
So, and I
And
was
forgetting
throwing out
sometimes
some
guys like
examples.
and forgetting
Go
guys
ahead.
sometimes like that will make a cameo appearance here and there.
Okay. Hello there. I mean, you're no Kenny Omega, but definitely High Cat.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess one of the questions I can ask, because we were talking about our first interaction with like wrestling games and fighting games. What was your first fighting game?
Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 1 back in the Sega Genesis days.
Oh, that's
Uh,
what I
See, the Sega Genesis one was just so like.
honestly, I think mine might have been Street Fighter 2 as well, honestly. I don't really remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2 pretty much got me into anime to begin with. Pretty much, I was just reading some of these game magazines, and next thing I seen there's Street Fighter 2 cartoon. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Why is there a scene with Chun-Li in a shower? I'm like, whoa.
Legendary scene if you've seen that one.
Right.
And then as for
But
Street Fighter, pretty much I was freaking the hell out for it because I seen that there were these moves that these people were doing where they were killing each other with like Scorpion took his face off and all of a sudden his skull came out and next thing you know blew fire.
Right. It was
And
pretty
I was
wild for the
freaking out.
time.
The next thing you know, Street Fighter 2 Mortal Kombat 2 came out. And next thing you know, I was like, when they had blood in this game? Yeah, I was a bit naive when I was a little kid. I didn't really knew that Mortal Kombat at the beginning was a gory game, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, first there was Street Fighter 2. Then I think Mortal Kombat came out like either later that year or the next year. I can't remember, but they were around like the same time period, I believe.
Oh yeah,
Right.
pretty much Mortal
The
Kombat.
arcade game, I think the arcade game started in '92. Then the console showed up the year after.
Yeah. Let's see.
Pretty much
look that up.
Mortal Kombat pretty much owes
Yeah.
a lot to Street Fighter, basically. Pretty much,
Ye-
as you know, when you beat the living crap out of your opponent in Street Fighter, they get dizzy and everything.
Yeah.
Mortal
Mhm.
Kombat is that thing into the next level to the point where you can actually do the fatality moves and everything.
Dad.
So Street Fighter 2 was February 6th, 1991, apparently. Let's see.
Oh, okay. So a year before. Okay.
Yeah, it was 91, and then Mortal Kombat was October 8th
It
of
was 92.
1992. Yeah, that's what it says here
Yeah.
on Wikipedia. which sounds about right.
All right. So I was kind of relating some of the wrestling games to like arena fighters, kind of like how Tekken was, especially how Mortal Kombat in the 2000s became. And how I kind of related to it is like how the 64 games, like the WWF games, especially like WCW versus NWO Revenge. Even like it did like Fire Pro Wrestling started that too. Like you're the one who has that knowledge.
I know about Fire Pro Wrestling. From what I know about Fire Pro Wrestling, it did start off on the NES and it went into several generations of consoles over time and everything.
Oh yeah, like that series is a dinosaur at this point.
Yeah, I've never played any of them for better or worse.
It's actually
Right.
it's actually a really fun wrestling game. It's kind of easy to pick up. It's hard to master because of the controls and everything. But it takes time to get used to them.
Is there one specific one
Right.
you would recommend a newbie play here, Nemesis?
Yeah, Nemesis 47 is my thing on there, but I go by Tony too.
Oh.
But
I'm sorry, you go by what?
Tony, but Nemesis
Tony?
47 is a handle I've been doing for quite some time. So.
Gotcha.
Anyway, as for Fire Pro Wrestling games, if you have a PlayStation 2 or currently right now you have a PS4 and everything, they do have Fire Pro Wrestling on the PS4 with the original one that came out back on the PlayStation 2 days, but the current one right now is Fire Pro Wrestling World right now. That's the one that has the wrestlers from the New Japan Pro Wrestling League, which includes Kenny Omega, Okada, a whole lot of wrestlers from there, and plus you can actually, one of the most greatest things about this game, it has such a deep create a wrestler mode. You can practically create anything in that game.
Oh wow!
Yeah, PS4 and everything.
I've always liked games where you can just like go crazy with the customer or creator mode.
Like,
this
like
one,
can you imagine? That's what I say. Can you imagine Grant wearing? I mean, just like coming on the gorilla, just doing his pose, wearing this freaking. Wearing these tights in patterns of chicken wings, like.
Don't forget the clown nose. Don't forget the clown nose.
Oh yeah, definitely the clown nose.
And anything, guys, back to Quin's thing about fighting games and everything. There's one wrestling storyline that I know that I was actually freaking out over this whole thing. It was like a fighting game. It was if you guys recall, back in 1994 when The Undertaker lost in his casket match with Yokozuna and he was presumed missing. And then you had this fake Undertaker or The Underfaker, which
Jesus Christ.
The movie pretty much came with. But I didn't
trash.
What this whole
trash
thing was until like late into before SummerSlam came out. And next thing I was freaking out like, how can Undertaker fight himself? This is like a mirror match in a fighting game? It's like Ryu versus Ryu and Ken versus Ken. I'm like...
So was it... Well, hold on. I don't really know the background. So they got like a lookalike to fight him? Or how did that work?
Pretty much.
They had The Undertaker's personal close friend, 8-Ball, or one of the... I think you can probably look it up, Quinn. It's one of his close friends that would later on become part of the Acolytes of Apocalypse or something like that. That was a biker gang characters in WWE back in the day, back in the Attitude Era.
Was it like Midian?
I'm not gonna say Midian. I could look it up. Hang on, let me see if I can look it up real quick. I hope I can still see the chat.
I just want to interject that wrestling has some of the craziest lore that I know about. There's so much. Like I don't know that much about wrestling backstories and like the storylines, but like my God, the amount of lore to the wrestling is insane.
I think that what oozes the charm of some of the wrestling companies, even with AEW now, like how they started with some of the stuff. Like I think, like like around where the pandemic was worse, I think the best dialogue, and I definitely know you don't know, Grant, but it was the clash between these wrestlers, Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy.
Uh-huh.
And and one of the moments is where like Jericho's in the middle of the stage talking his shit, and what do you know it? Gallons and gallons of orange juice just fell on him. Like,
why?
It's wrestling.
Yeah, there you go. It's wrestling.
It's like all that Tropicana gone. Like
gone. That could have fed like thirsty infants in like a foreign country, like third world country. But nope, we're pouring it on this wrestler here.
That's a whole month worth of oranges right there.
Yeah, all wasted. Imagine how much that would cost.
Right. Like, who paid for the catering? Like,
right. Oh man.
You know, I mean, fire that promoter and definitely fire that freaking caterer. We don't need him anymore.
Nope. No.
I mean, we have like freaking 3 boxes of freaking donuts, and we could have used all those orange juices just to freaking get rid of the freaking things out of our esophagus. Like,
right, sure.
Oh man, I'd have, like, honestly, if I was working over there, I would have flipped a bitch. But it was probably the most what the fuck moments I watched in wrestling by far.
And there was no, it was just like a complete non sequitur. It's just like they're arguing, and then all of a sudden orange juice. Why?
Right.
Well, I was just saying, because it's wrestling, so I'm not going to ask why, but
that has to do with back in also, of course, back to the Attitude Era again. There was this wrestler called Gangrel. One of his gimmicks came out he would pour blood on his opponent, so to speak, like a bloodbath.
Oh, okay.
So that was pretty much it derived from that, so to speak. I'm going to say.
So, like a really offshoot of this one gag from a while back.
Yeah, basically,
okay.
Using orange juice or something.
But orange juice.
Yeah, but orange juice, it's like that's not as cool as the blood, you know. It's like the blood. There's like an aesthetic reason for that. There's not for the orange.
I mean, Florida man be damned. Okay.
Oranges over in Florida.
Right. Oh man, like that. Like I wanted to send a tweet to both of those wrestlers so bad, like how freaking disappointed I was about that. But going back to the subject, like what okay, so what? All right, so what wrestler in a fighting game you enjoy?
What wrestler in a fighting game? Or just any wrestling game in general?
For instance, King from Tekken.
I was gonna say for me, it's Hager from what is it? Friday Night Slam Masters. Just because. Also, Final Fight.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Mayor Hager.
What's his face from King of Fighters? He mimicked frickin' Vader. What the hell
damn.
King of Fighter.
I know who you're talking about too.
Yeah, and one of the special moves, he would actually blow some stuff from his mouth or whatever. He definitely pretty much what I know is they definitely used Big Van Vader, God rest his soul.
Let's see.
Oh man, like
you said from King of Fighters.
King of Fighters or Fatal Fury, one of those two.
Oh.
Yeah, I know who you speak of too. Jeez.
It sounds really familiar.
Man, that's gonna bother me today. Well, while Grant is doing his research, I guess I can throw my character. I personally had to say Zangief.
Classic grappler.
Yep.
Oh yeah, like also man who crushes men's heads between thighs.
Don't forget Rainbow Mika from Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Oh yeah, I liked Rainbow Mika. Yeah. She was like the goofy side. Like if Zangief was like largely kind of sort of serious, for the most part.
Mhm.
She was like the antithesis of that, I would say.
Yep, and based on the canon within the story of Street Fighter, so to speak, Zangief actually took her under her wing during Street Fighter V, I believe.
5,
Yeah.
okay. So that because well, hold on. So Alpha chronologically takes place before all of those, right?
Correct.
Alpha 1 through 3 does, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then it's like technically at that point, then it's so I think the lore goes Street Fighter, then it's the Alpha, and then it's 2, right? And then I think it's like 4, then 5.
Actually,
not
no.
mistaken, then-
Actually, Street Fighter Alpha 1 through 3 comes before Street Fighter 1.
Okay.
Yep.
Then goes Street Fighter 2, then Street Fighter 4.
4, then Street Fighter
Yeah.
3, then Street Fighter 5, then actually Street Fighter 3, then Street Fighter 6 is actually after 3.
So let's see. I'm googling the timeline right now. Let's see here. Timeline. Oh, actually, no. So yeah, I was right. So it's Street Fighter, then it's Alpha, then 2, then 4, 5, 3, and then now it'll be 6 here. Will be the chronological.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh,
yeah, that's what it says here.
That was crazy for a second.
Oh, fun fact here. Mike Hager was born on September 3rd, 1943. So just a
birthday.
Happy
little,
birthday, Tony.
yeah.
So you got a birthday with Mayor Hager.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, his birthday just recently passed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the timeline is so weird because like for example, let's see, like so Mike Hager, if he was born in 43, he would be what, like 80 almost now? 80 this year,
roughly.
I think. Yeah. Just about 80 years old.
He's built like Sylvester Stallone before Rambo.
Yeah.
That's a guy that might even live way past 100.
Right.
Probably. Huh. This is an interesting Wikipedia or streetfighter.fandom.com/wiki/timeline. There's a whole like all the lore of like the birth and timeline is here.
Is pretty much in with the lore of Street Fighter, so to speak.
Yeah, so apparently wasn't Final Fight originally designed to be the follow-up to the original Street Fighter or something like that, I think?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. I think they called it like, didn't they call it like Street Fighter like 89 for a while until they renamed it?
I think so, and I know that Cody from Final Fight does actually, is in Street Fighter Alpha 3, and then
yeah, he's the prisoner, right?
Yep, and then in Street Fighter 5, he's a DLC character who becomes the mayor of the town in Final Fight and actually becomes a playable character in that game.
Oh, by the way, your wife just commented, and I'll put it on the screen. She said, just because you're a bad guy does not mean you're a bad guy. So
Zangief from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because
great movie, by the way.
That's why I was referencing. I like the man who puts man's head in between thighs. But how they expressed that meat slap on that movie was freaking scary. I mean, I think Zangief is just as dangerous in the Pixar verse than the guy in freaking Ratatouille. That freaking Marine. It's like I could kill with my thumb. Like, all right. So with the affairs of like seeing Tony actually got me inspired to do this episode. He got WWE 2K22.
Yeah, I had to unfortunately take it back because it was a library return though, but still, I played it. It's a different wrestling game compared to its predecessors, but it's actually still quite fun.
So this is the most recent version, or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the way they look, the way it looks, the way it feels, especially seeing Tony, like with his gameplay, like they actually like remade everything. Like, it was getting to the fatigue of like freaking Madden territory.
Okay, so they redid the whole
had to
system,
take
or
a year off.
Yeah,
break.
like some serious repackaging.
Yeah, they
Huh.
seriously had to redo a lot of things to WWE 2K22 because 2K20 was a piece of crap.
so
It was
elaborate. I
buggy
actually
like
don't know.
hell. It was buggy like hell.
Uh.
Mainly it was because it was buggy.
Mhm.
Really buggy. I
What?
mean, to the
Any
point
examples,
where
or
referees were looking like the rag dolls.
oh
Looks
wow,
like they were actually going through the actual ring, like to
Oh.
the Twilight Zone or wherever the hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, they had to just borderline scrap what they had and like redo it for the newest one. Then you're saying?
Yeah,
So to
like they
speak.
got a brand new engine and everything.
Okay,
Mhm.
sweet.
The only thing is I
So-
wish they actually add a little bit more to the game, as in
Hey kids,
make people-
we got a new challenger.
what?
Yo, everyone, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
All right, so would you like to tell everybody your name to the board?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Christopher Arvanitis. In the online world, I go by the name Chaos Gamer 137, and I am a Twitch streamer on twitch.tv/Chaos Gamer 137. You can also maybe follow my YouTube channel on the same name.
also,
All right,
the
right
two,
on.
And with Grant here,
I was gonna say
we
the
are
two of
also
us
part
do
of a
the podcast.
group.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Grant plugged plugged you both pretty good.
Yep.
But that's
I plugged us at the beginning there, Chris. So.
Yeah, it took me a while to try to get that set up. For whatever reason, I tried to see if I could. I use my OBS so the microphone settings would be nice, but apparently this and OBS don't mix so well, so I had to close it.
I totally understand. Like I just had to turn on my speed of my bandwidth so I could actually get the freaking ball rolling. So looks like it's going good. I can hear you guys good. I can see you guys pretty good. And we actually got one alien named Nemesis over there with using his phone. So I appreciate you guys coming through. But since I started the question with Grant Tony over here, what was your first fighting game you ever played?
Street Fighter 2. The one on the Sega Genesis.
Like everyone.
All right. Oh, you know what? Just to relate the idea, I think Sega Genesis just hit entirely different with the fighting game community back in the day.
I gotta agree with that, since Mortal Kombat was also another game I played in the Sega Genesis too.
Right.
And the Sega Genesis side note had that 6-button controller, which is basically perfect for fighting games.
Love it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the time I didn't know that one since I only had the 3-button layout.
Yeah. Well, 6-button was like awesome for like games like that. So Super
Right.
Nintendo, it's like you had the 4 face buttons in the shoulders, but it made a lot more sense to have like 3 heavy or like 3 kicks and 3 punch buttons or whatever.
Yeah, like just like right at moment's notice, with the thumb. But yeah, those shoulder buttons just feel so weird. It's like, why do I want to use a freaking strong punch all the way on the other part of the controller?
Right. It makes sense on like the 6-button because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6
Right.
all in a row there. So
Yep.
Right.
It was actually really good with WWE Royal Rumble back in the Sega Genesis days too.
Man,
And
hey, Tony,
WWE too.
fuck
Right.
that game. Like,
Well, to be fair, not every game transitions well.
oh yeah, like so, Chris, was there any experiences you have with wrestling games back in the day?
Sadly, I have no experience with wrestling games whatsoever, but some of my family members, they're the ones you would want to talk to about that.
Like, have you ever seen your family play some of those games?
Little bit, but honestly, I was never really interested all that well.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Wrestling just never really clicked with me.
Oh yeah, funny enough, like Grant brought up a good point where how the lore of the series
is insane.
Yeah, like how incredibly fictitious they could be, just as bad as the fictional stuff we know today. And I'm looking at you, freaking Skullgirls. I'm looking at you.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, like the wrestling, like WWE, it's like it can be just as ridiculous, if not more so, than like stuff like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. Honestly.
Oh yeah, right. And some of the people that would enjoy, like even like some of the characters of wrestling that would dress up as their favorite characters. Like we got as of recent, Jade Cargill from AEW. She dresses up like Jade from Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah.
We also got Iceman from the old WCW. He dressed up like Sub-Zero.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I guess that kind of makes sense.
Glacier.
Right. Oh, who?
Glacier.
Yeah, Glacier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, but he was
all those obscure wrestling characters from back in the day.
right. But his outfits, his wrestling gear just sucked. Like, I mean, like he had me with the.
I know originally back when WCW was having Glacier wrestle and everything like that.
Yeah.
Originally, one of the original ideas was he was supposed to have some sort of stable that's supposed to mimic kind of like the Mortal Kombat character, so to speak.
Right. And boy, did it fail because it did not make sense. So another question I asked, like, do you know one wrestler from a fighting game? That's your question, Chris.
You mean aside from Mike Hagar in the Final Fight franchise?
That's what I said.
Then again,
Everyone
on that
knows
subject of
Mike
Final Fight, and I guess now these days he could be considered a wrestler since he was an enemy. Hugo, who was in the Street Fighter series.
Right,
yeah.
Actually, he was my main on Street Fighter 3.
Yeah.
No,
regular 3. That's right.
I've had my butt handed to me by a couple of Hugo players at conventions. I can vouch this.
Actually, I remember one video that kind of caught my eye was the boss rage from Maximilian Dude on YouTube.
Oh, who doesn't love Max?
He did the Oni challenge, and when he was like getting there, Hugo, he was using I believe he was using Ryu, and he was he was doing his Shinku Hadoken. Freaking Hugo just cleaned through the Hadoken and freaking clothesline Ryu for the knockout. It was like, ah! Like that's all you heard from Max.
That actually reminds me of somewhat of a similar story that happened to me. I won't say the Hadoken didn't pass through me, but it actually glitched to the other side of me. This happened, and when I was at Colossal Con. And if anyone knows Colossal Con, their fighting game cabinets, as you got the players on both sides of a cabinet. So I was playing Third Strike. I was using Akuma. He was using Rio. Comes down to the final round. We're getting neck and neck at each other.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything can kill me at this point. The guy knocks me down. He's getting ready to charge a Shinku Hadoken, knowing it would get me the moment I got up. I had a full super meter, so it was like go for broke. I input Shingoku Satsu. But the moment that Hadoken launches, my super went off. The Hadoken glitched past me. I get him for the win. That dude was pissed. I know
salty.
The cabinet.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like the 90 salt was insane.
It also reminds me of this one YouTube video I seen with Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Pretty much, there was this whole thing where this one legendary character used Ken taking on Chun-Li, and he kept using the tech counter on one of her super moves or whatever, and next thing which would seem to be impossible, so to speak. I think it was probably
the one where he blocks it like 50 times in a row.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
The Daigo Parry.
I think everybody knows that scene without even knowing.
That's
Street
called
Fighter.
the Evil Moment 37.
Yeah, everybody knows that moment. It's like one of the best moments in fighting game history.
Oh man, and actually, the much funnier thing, Justin Wong, who Daigo went against, also he has a YouTube channel. Like even some of the players that plays against Justin Wong does that Daigo parry.
Yeah,
it's fucking hilarious.
Because like don't you have to like block it like 50 times like perfectly, something like that, in order to yeah.
Like there's a certain numbers of perfect blocks you gotta.
And it's like
Yeah, they also put that moment in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike Online Edition and for the 360 and PS3. If anyone even wants to attempt that,
like it's a like an in-game challenge, or wow, okay.
Justin even did a video about that too.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, me though. And, I got Third Strike on my PS2. It's on that anniversary collection, but no, I have it though regardless.
I've got the one on PS4 there where it has pretty much all the old Street Fighter games on it. The what is it? The anniversary collection? Or no, it's not anniversary. It's the 35th anniversary collection, something like that.
The 30th anniversary collection, I believe you mean.
Yep,
Give me
that's the one I got.
Same here.
Nice.
But 35
Although
years.
I
holy
do feel
cow.
the difficulty curve on that collection is ridiculous. No matter how much you try to set that difficulty to low as possible.
You know what? That's like the best Street Fighter collection, by far, because I think that's where I kind of grew into Street Fighter a little bit more, especially for the technicality prowess of some, both Street Fighter 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which Third Strike is
Third Strike as well as the Anniversary Collection, which is
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
like
PS2 one.
I have that as well.
yeah, like I grew into Street Fighter 3 using just playing that collection like back in high school, and I beat the game with Ken.
Nice.
Which wasn't really that much until I happened to realize my friend put it on easy. I was like this. I was like this bitch.
He made me feel so good, but
Right.
it was only easy difficulty.
So I went balls to the wall and rose the difficulty to the highest.
Oh god.
And I got my shit handed.
Yeah.
It was a Buki. I started with first. I was embarrassed.
I believe it.
Unfortunately, though, if they include someone of the board of the original arcade, that holds no punches.
Not at all. Actually, like Chris, were you like into like some of the fighting game tournaments or whatever gaming tournament they had around arcades back then?
Not really. I didn't even know about a lot of that stuff back then.
Yeah, I was like earlier in the show. I was just telling Chris that I used to go to the fighting tournaments at Red Baron when it was in yeah, Chris. I'm gonna call you Chris.
Yeah, call me Chris.
All right, so I'm coming. But either way.
Oh no, did he freeze?
Looks like something happened on Quentin's end.
Well, guys, I'm hijacking this show. This is now the Mighty Grant show.
All right, I see his mic is muted a little bit. Give him a moment.
Like he's Well,
I could hear you guys okay, but
yeah.
Here we are.
Hey, you're back.
Hey,
I was gonna say if you didn't come within the next 5 seconds, this is now the Mighty Grant show, Quinn.
Oh, I can hear you. Just,
okay.
I mean, it was coherent.
Yeah. Okay. It's just that your mic wasn't working. Gotcha.
All right. So yeah. So I guess the next question I can ask Chris, not you, Chris.
This Chris down here.
Yes.
Wait. There. I'm
Yeah,
trying
the
to
one beneath me. The one right here. All right. That's what she said. But either way, do you consider wrestling games a fighting game?
That's actually a very good question. And I would love to consider them fighting games, but at the same time, I'd consider wrestling its own independent genre altogether.
See, I actually disagree with that, Chris. The actual Chris.
But
okay, so
I didn't really grow up in that community.
Quick announcement: Ross is about to be here in about 10-15 minutes.
Ooh.
Awesomeness.
All right, so I guess we could just chat it up about either one. Like
Sinan will be there in 5, he said.
All right, cool.
So we're gonna have like up to 6 people. That'll be kind of crazy for one podcast here.
Let's
see what happens. I'll also do what I can, try to promote this a little bit more, or while I'm talking with you guys.
So blink twice if you need to scream for help.
If I blink like 20 times, what does that mean?
I'm going to die, clearly.
I'm a die, help!
Help!
But yeah, Chris, I would say that wrestling games are a subcategory of fighting games, personally, because like it's like platform fighters for Super Smash Brothers or one-on-one like Street Fighter. Wrestling would be like another subcategory. Yeah, it's like they're not one-on-one fighters, but they are fighters, a type of fighter.
Yeah, it's like I kind of relate it close to arena fighters because you do fight in the ring and you actually could fight outside the ring even nowadays. Like how nice it is just to get bitch slapped by a Kindle stick in the middle of freaking looking at the catering, like. Ooh, donuts! Hold up, son.
Well, for me, it depends really on what you're playing. Really, like for instance, if you're playing WWE All Stars, for instance, which came out back on the PlayStation 3, that
I
was
just talked about it.
game. Games for like WWE 2K22, for instance, I consider that just mainly its own genre, like a wrestling game, so to speak, like a sports game. It's supposed to be like a simulated kind of thing, so to speak.
To be fair, WWE All Stars was more arcade than it is simulation.
True.
Like the 2K series would be technically a simulation.
Yeah. But as I said, it depends on what.
I mean, that's like comparing Gran Turismo to Burnout.
Yeah.
Because like some people would love the use that methodical way of racing where people just want to blow shit up.
Yeah. Well, it's like, Mario Kart. You couldn't say Mario Kart's anything like Gran Torino or Burnout. They're like, all three of those are completely different things, but they're all racing games. So
right.
Yeah.
So they're like, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, racing, like all three of those have in common like the objective of get to the end before everybody else.
Right.
So they're racing, wrestling, or not wrestling, fighting games. All of them are like deplete the opponent's energy or opponent's energy down to 0. So all those like Super Smash Brothers, Street Fighter, and wrestling, even though they have different rule sets, they all have the same objective. Therefore, they're all fighting games.
Right. And that's what I kind of consider it as a fighting game because, I mean, it may have its own quirks, but at the same time, it's relevant and let alone relatable to the genre.
Yeah, right, exactly. It should all be about whatever the core objective is. Like a puzzle game is to solve the puzzle, right?
Right.
Which is like something like, say, Tetris is going to be different than the game Catherine, for instance, if you know that game.
I thought you were going to put Puyo
Catherine
out your ass. Like,
done a lot of that.
Yeah, Puyo Puyo is like very similar. What were you saying though, Chris?
I have played a little bit of Catherine, but not a lot of it.
It's good. It's very different. It's like a different type of puzzle game. But yeah, I mean, again, my whole argument is like, okay, you can have a genre with lots of different subgenres, but as long as the main genre has like a core theme and rule set, therefore, that subgenres can fall underneath it.
Right.
Like I think one thing we've once talked about fighting games and beat 'em up games.
Yeah, so I think we decided that beat 'em up games they're different. They're kind of like fighting games. They're a little bit harder to define. I would say that they're fighting, but like they're about as far away from fighting games as you can be to still be a fighting game. That's my opinion.
Right. I mean, in a way, go ahead, Tony.
In that case, how would you guys define like a boxing game, like Fight Night, for instance?
Oh, that's still definitely a fighting game. It's just boxing is a type of fighting. So
right. Like even MMA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe that makes sense actually.
Yeah. Oh man, like I haven't played Fight Night since Fight Night Round 2.
Oh, love that game.
Oh man, like I know they came. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I've never played Fight Night, but I played Ready to Rumble Boxing on the N64. You ever play that one?
Masterclass. Okay.
That game was pretty good. I liked what was it, Afro Thunder?
One of the demo games on my Dreamcast.
I was saying, who's your main?
What in Ready to Rumble? I liked Afro Thunder. He was cool. He looked he was like if Muhammad Ali had a afro, that would basically be him.
Actually, my favorite boxer on that game was Boris.
Oh, the Russian one? Yeah, I remember him.
Oh man, like
Boris the Bear Nakamov, I believe.
Oh yeah. Geez, like there's just so many freaking subgenres, especially with wrestling. I think the best one to explore this with is Def Jam Vendetta, the series.
Yep, we talked about that one actually on a podcast.
Even Fight for New York.
Yep.
Fight for New York, I love that game. However, that game is extremely rare to get these days.
That's what I think we actually talked about that on our podcast, didn't we, Chris? About like how
When you
absurdly
say that, I'll
expensive.
be back.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. But what was discussed?
On the fighting games episode, or
Yeah.
so let's see.
My God.
We actually I think had another episode that hasn't uploaded yet, and this was the licensed game episode, which I want to say is probably scheduled for sometime in November. Chris, when's
Yeah.
our license? Yeah, the licensed game one coming out.
Oh.
November.
Yep.
Yep.
And since you mentioned the price of this thing, how much you guys think I paid for this?
$20.
$3.
I'm gonna say probably like
A Christmas gift and a lap dance.
$2. You paid $2.
That's
At a closing video store.
Wow.
That's
good find.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have preferred the Xbox version over this, since I hear that one's better. But beggars can't be choosers.
I actually bought Suikoden 5 there, or Suikoden. I bought that for $30 when it was still like $70, and now I think it's going for like 100 something these days here.
I used to have.
It's crazy how much retro games now these days are going up in value.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Suikoden 5. Wait a minute. I don't even think you can get it on Amazon here. Let's see. I'm just gonna go to what is it? VG Charts. Let's see, VGCharts.com, and we're gonna look for that. We're also gonna look for Def Jam as well.
I know that the second Suikoden game was like very rare.
Absurdly. You heard they're remaking it, right?
Yes, I
Really
did.
now?
Yeah, they're remastering the first.
Suikoden's games getting a port or an HD remaster or something.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
This is very very big news because the second one is one of the best games of all time in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I almost beat the first one, but before the end, like towards the almost near the end of the game, I got my butt kicked on it.
Yeah, it's yeah, there's definitely like a couple parts in 2. I remember like if you weren't leveled up enough, like it was like extremely hard to advance.
And from what I know, I got all the characters, but next thing I went almost near the end of the game and got my butt handed to me.
Yeah, they're definitely good games. I've actually honestly never beat any of them except the first 2, but I got really far in 5 and 3, and I haven't even touched 4. And I own the first. I own all 3 of the PS2 ones.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the best wrestler you ever created?
That I personally created?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Like in SmackDown versus SmackDown 2. No, shut your mouth or something like that. What? SmackDown 2 on the PlayStation 1 days. I would make like Soccer from Street Fighter. Sometimes I would even make Mr. X from Resident Evil and stuff.
Oh wow.
It's good to always create characters from different IPs just for the fun of it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Oh man, you should see how many freaking Deadpools he has on his freaking games. May God help us.
The usual finishing move was usually a choke slam.
Hey, we got a new challenger.
Hey.
Where's the new challenger at? There he is.
Hello.
Yostin.
Hello.
We have 3 of the podcasters on this show now here for Old
Right on.
And another one joining soon.
Yep, we're gonna have 4
Right.
of them. That's gonna be most right there.
So, would you like to let everybody know your name for the room and the state here? That'd be
I'm
useful.
talking about my
Something
legal
happened in
name,
this
my
end.
nickname,
Never mind.
or my.
I mean, like that's up to you. I mean, if you want to get caught by the government, that's your business.
Woo!
Okay. So, how you doing, everyone? My name is Sinan Zahavi. I'm part of Games with Base. One with the Rants over there, and the bald Greek man over there with the Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy and all that. That's really about it.
I was about to say,
bring
take a
lot
deep
of
breath,
good
sir.
insight.
Have some water. Here,
No,
I
I
can
don't
throw
want
it
to
on
take
the
deep breath.
bed.
No, don't worry. I already got my boss water.
All right, right on.
Good old boss.
All right. Did you drink your water, Tony?
All right, so what did I miss?
All right, got it. I mean, like, great, like, before the show, just literally took a shit and did his hair before he even got on. Which was very, very smart, by the way.
I looked very grimy.
All right, so the first question I asked everybody. All right, the first question I asked everybody, Sam, was in the. Let me finish the question. All right, so Tim, what was the first fighting game you ever played?
The first fighting game I ever played. Okay, let's go back to the 90s. I know that was like 30 years ago now. Holy shit. The first fighting game I ever played, it was either Clay Fighter or it was Tekken. One of the two.
I believe Clay Fighter first.
Clay Fighter sounds like a game you would have played.
Clay Fighter or Tekken is because my first video game ever was Final Fantasy VII.
Fair point. Fair point.
Yeah, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, my first video game ever was Super Mario World." Nah, that was like my 10th video game. But Super Mario World, best Mario game ever.
Oh,
Agreed.
First game for me that was. I'm sorry, I'm showing my age here. Super Mario from the NES.
I can vouch for that one too.
All
right. Mine was The Legend of Zelda.
First game ever, technically. So the first game I remember playing was a Mickey Mouse DOS game with my grandpa when I was like 3 years old, 3 or 4. That's like the earliest I remember. But
wait. Actually, for me though, that was Batman '89 for the arcade. That was the one where you pretty much would knock. It was almost near a simulator to the movie. That I played that a long time ago, back when I lived in Las Vegas, and they had the arcade cabinet over for the.
Oh, right on.
That was way before I got into the NES and stuff.
Geez, like, I appreciate everybody showing my age. Like,
yeah.
Like, you really want to get your age shown? I just saw a post on Facebook that was showing. Everyone knows the show Recess, right?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Apparently, it turned 25 years old today.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I honestly knew that.
Glad someone knows. I didn't.
And the more I stare at Tony's baldness, the older I know I'm getting.
I think. Let's see, Sinan, you're younger than me, I believe, right? So you're the youngest, and I'm the second youngest here, I think.
I'm younger than you by a couple months, yeah.
Yeah.
What's everybody's age anyway?
Because I'm October 20th, 1990, so I'm just shy of 32 here now.
Oh.
I'm the almighty goatfish.
Almighty goldfish.
Is
that why you're wearing? I was about to say, is that why you're wearing that shirt?
I said goats. Bah.
Well, it kind of looks like a goldfish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the snack that smiles back.
Gold is in my name, but nah.
Yeah.
Almighty goatfish.
Ah, okay.
You said your last name translates to the golden or something like that, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But yeah, no,
right.
Like Tekken. I think it was Tekken 2 was my first ever fighting game, though.
Who do you mean on Tekken?
Back then, there was the little dinosaur guy because it would piss off my brothers every time I use a little roll attack.
Oh yeah, the dinosaur was so cute.
What was it, Khan or something like that? I want to say.
Oh, Gone. That was from Tekken.
Gone, yeah.
Yeah, I never really played Tekken 3, but I remember seeing that character in a magazine I've got somewhere in this house.
That's where he originated from.
Then there's also the bear, because how can you go wrong with playing a bear that beats the bad guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course there's always the main guy on the cover of the Tekken series, Jin. I think it was Jin.
Yeah.
Jin
I think
Kazama.
probably either Jin or Kazuya or maybe Hayachi. I could be wrong about
yeah.
that last one though.
So you know in the Mishima family?
Yeah. And then Ogre. Those were like my main.
All right, right on. I was actually main with Lee Wulong.
You can't go wrong with
Then, but as soon as Eddie Gordos with Tekken 3 showed up, the game was over. Like, sit your drunk ass down. Like,
Him and his capoeira.
oh yeah. Well, according to everybody within the fighting game community, Eddie Gordo is also known as Easy Mode.
You know a fighting game I like that I think probably everyone who's played it has enjoyed. Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Ah, yeah.
Game.
I'm gonna take you for a ride.
Oh, man,
I think Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is overrated. I think it's trash.
I know you're kidding, but
That game.
I think Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was the best one ever.
Like you really want to be a troll? That's the answer you give.
Yeah.
It
pushed it in a bold and exciting new direction.
I'd rather play Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe than play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Wait, was it that bad? I didn't really play much.
Now that's fighting words right there. Marvel Mortal Kombat vs. DC was the worst trash I ever fucking played.
I'd rather eat that trash. I mean, if it was a rotten banana in there and probably somebody's panties, I would literally throw my mouth with the tongue in there. Play that game.
Real talk, yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was a flaming garbage pile and everything, but I would still play that 100 times over than would I ever touch again Mortal Kombat versus DC, because that shit pissed me off.
They literally censored Joker's fatality, and it was really stupid when I saw it.
They actually got away with it.
It's not even that. Like even the fatalities was a joke. Like
you are aware of the reason why they had to do that, right?
Like obviously,
he was afraid of showing Batman his head ripped off. That's why.
Because DC was a bitch.
Yeah. It was the only way
DC was a bitch.
Actually, get on Warner Brothers had the rights to this.
Right.
I mean, they did Injustice.
Honestly, I think if that didn't happen, we probably in the long run would not have the Injustice series.
It's possible.
Also true.
That's a point.
I mean, the Injustice games are all right, but there's a lot of better ones out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I enjoyed the Injustice 1 the best. They shouldn't have made an Injustice 2.
Yeah.
I didn't really play much of 2. Why would you say they shouldn't have made 2?
Personally, I felt like it was a cash grab.
I only played it like multiplayer once with a friend. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, but basically, they didn't really change much in 2, if anything at all. They just added a few extra characters, and they kind of gave them the exact same moves as a few others.
Oh, I see.
Considering how DC heroes are, they all are carbon copies of each other, so they might as well have the same moves from the get-go. Just saying.
Right.
But what before the Injustice series, you wouldn't have the modern Mortal Kombat gameplay you have today with the story mode, so to speak.
True.
I mean, a lot of the modern Mortal Kombats have nothing that interests me. So it's like, eh. And
I'd like to mention that for a minute, and from the Mortal Kombat games of the past, which one or a couple would you consider awesome ones?
The greatest one.
That's a good question.
The greatest one, no contest. I will die on the hill if anyone says otherwise. Deadly Alliance. That is the greatest one.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually,
wow.
I only rented Deadly Alliance once, and by the time I actually figured out how to do the conquest mode, Deadly Alliance was good for its transition to its first 3D outing, but honestly, for me personally, Deception was where it was at.
Oh
Absolutely.
wait, no, I'm sorry. I got mixed up. Your Deception is the one. I'm sorry.
Two words: puzzle and combat.
I'm sorry.
When they added their Super Puzzle Fighter in that freaking mode, I was on it.
Yeah, but no, I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me, Chris. I meant Deception. Fucking, it's just Deadly Alliance has a great story, but then Deception is like, woo! I can't.
Yeah, you almost made me chuckle my cookie when you said Deadly Alliance.
For me,
wait a minute. He prefers the worst one out of that gen era. Well,
wait, what?
Come on, guys.
Well,
Sub-Zero mythologies.
Probably Armageddon.
Oh man.
Oh.
You know, here's an interesting fact that I didn't tell anyone. I think like state the obvious. With Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, the combo set for Sub-Zero on Mortal Kombat 3 didn't even change. They transitioned like all the combo system from Mortal Kombat 3 to Mythologies.
Uh-huh.
So you can actually get faster experience by doing those combos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I tried playing like some of it on the PS1. I'm like, honestly, it's one of the worst games I've ever played. It was terrible.
Well, let's be fair, man. Unless you have a guide or actually know what to do, it's not going to be easy. In fact, I did run Mythologies once before, first time. Didn't really know what the hell to do because I couldn't even get into the bottom area.
Yeah.
Then when the Nintendo Power issue came out and showed me what to do, I was like, okay, maybe I could give it a shot again. I did, and then later on, I actually got better with it. The one level that was problematic with me, the second to last level, because I was trying to find one of the bosses, and the game is just not really vague on where the hell to go. Because you literally got to fall in one of the pits to get somewhere.
I need to say this. I love everything Chris said, but I love his video so much more because it's just slowly going at a snail's pace, and it's just so far behind. And I'm just seeing it like one of those Asian dubbed English movies right now.
That's audio lag.
I guess settings on your end. Actually, since he mentioned it, was there problems looking at me from anyone else's end or just Sin?
I think it was just yours. Sinan, you're the one that's lagging on my end, personally.
Really? I'm the one.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's little upset. That can be different from everyone else's.
Yeah, no, like I Quin's just fine. Grant is just stagnant like normal. I forgot your name.
You mate?
Yes, you.
All right, Ross is almost home.
It's under Nemesis 47, but also go by Tony.
Tony, yes, thank you. Okay. Tony's going just fine. It's just Chris that's going at a snail pace right now. It's kind of adorable.
I'm willing to bet your laptop can't keep up with the quality of my camera. Is actually
because Chris is fine on my. Actually, yeah, Sinan, you're the only one that's lagging for me. So,
and let's be fair for a minute. Sin is actually using his laptop's webcam.
Yeah,
I'm using my webcam.
I've got a desktop one here. So.
Am I lagging for anyone else besides Grant's?
No.
Not that I can see for the moment.
And your lag isn't that bad. It's just the only noticeable.
Well, let's also be fair. It's also going to depend on the internet connection for everyone, too.
Yeah, I'm using a 5G connection for me. I'm using my phone.
Oh, yeah.
That's flawless.
I'm hardwired, so.
That's what she said.
Oh!
Man, that Mark's Hard Limit Day ain't gonna go down easy, is it?
Okay. So, I was messaging a friend earlier, and she actually was hardwired. She gave me control of her stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, it was set to go to the rhythm of music. So I turned on some Dragon Force, and she thanked me and hated me for
it. What song played first?
Please tell me it's
Fire and Flames, I hope.
Bingo!
I mean, I personally use Fury of the Storm, but that's just me.
that played second.
Right.
But yeah, no, like she hated me because her show was it ended a bit too quickly.
Not to mock that, but I definitely know what you meant.
Yeah.
So, Sinan, was there any like wrestling games you grew up with?
Wrestling, Celebrity Deathmatch. The show was awesome. It had amazing Yeah, limited characters. I wish they made another one. I wish they would port it over to modern systems. Just saying, because that game was fun as fuck.
That was a complete diamond in the rough, though.
Yeah, and the way the characters would interact with each other was just pretty good too.
And the wild part is they simulated just as good as the show. Like I think they did great for its time.
I think I mained the Wolfman in that game because he was just fun as fuck to play with.
Oh man, but who else was in that game? It's been a while.
Marilyn Manson, I know. Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh yeah, definitely her.
Good match.
I think my favorite episode in that show was it was one match that had Tommy Lee in it. And what was his finisher? All you saw him is unzip his pants and his dick literally whipped somebody's eyes out. Master class, okay? Like
sounds like a real masturbator to me.
All right, so the
characters
the characters in Celebrity Deathmatch.
You say Gene Simmons?
Wait, what?
Backstreet Boys versus Kiss. That was my favorite episode. That's when.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I remember that episode.
Battle.
One of my favorite episodes was Dwayne The Rock Johnson versus Chris Rock.
Ah, two different rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, no. So the characters you could play as in the game, it was Anna Nicole Smith, Busta Rhymes, Carmen Electra, Carrot Top, Cindy Margolis. I don't remember that name. Cousin Grim.
I was about to say, yeah, she was a TV personality.
Okay. Cousin Grim, Lance Bass, JC Chazes, Joey Fatone, Chris Kirkpatrick, Justin Timberlake, Dennis Rodman.
So pretty much all of NSYNC.
Yep. Frankenstein's Monster, Gladiator Nick, Jerry Springer, Marilyn Manson, Miss Cleo, Mr. T, The Mummy, Ron Jeremy, Shannon Doherty, Tommy Lee, Wizard Johnny, Wolfman, and Zatar the Alien. Let's see here. And a trivia bit, Cindy Margolis is the only celebrity to never appear in the show.
Interesting.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So, game only.
I'm a video game exclusive. What are you going to talk about? What nobody's going to remember you in that world day.
So when Ross pops up in this chat and everything, is he gonna be in the middle or is he gonna be on one of the sides?
Oh no, who's on top? Who's on bottom?
On my screen.
Well, wait, pause. I
was gonna say.
Don't answer that.
Don't answer that.
Do we really want to know?
On my screen, Chris is the bottom.
If anything, Ross will be sandwiched between you and I, Sin.
I would imagine that the newer people show up at the bottom, right?
Yeah. More likely.
So, Quinn, you're top left. Grant's in the center.
Well, then again, I was at the
right.
left at first. Sin showed up at the left, so probably Ross will be at the left.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Chris is currently bottom right, and then I'm bottom left. So yeah, maybe I'll be in the center.
We got a 3-2 formation. You know, I'm going to be a left tackle.
I'm the what am I? The quarterback or something?
Yeah.
You have a Chan Omaha.
Oh man!
All right. But anyway, I guess the next question I would love to ask. What was like your best memories in a fight? Like one of your best memories in a fighting game?
So you broke up for a second there. So I heard a slur instead of whatever you said.
I was gonna. Okay, I'll ask again. What was one of your favorite moments in your history of fighting games?
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the
One of my
arcade.
favorite
I
moments
never
in
played it
history.
in general, but that was the first game to actually introduce super combos or super moves, whatever you want to call them, so to speak.
Yeah, they introduced the supers in that one.
Mhm.
Right.
And I was flipping like, what the heck's going on? That makes, I mean, I was like flipping out as a kid, like, what because of seeing the Shinku Hadouken for the first time and the Shoru Rippa and all that stuff, and then then that's when they also first introduced Akuma.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, that intro was what
Yes.
really caught my attention in that first,
Same.
going from Super to Super Turbo. Because at first you got like Chun-Li and Cammy coming on the screen, and then all of a sudden like this shadow figure is appearing in front of Ryu. Is like, who the heck is this?
Yeah.
And then you got Ryu pretty much having that fire pose. Next thing he started writing his Hadouken and rah!
I think my favorite moment in a fighting game. I'm also at a wrestling match. It was the the WWF Championship match on story mode on No Mercy, where I went against Triple H. When I freaking like, who was it? Freaking Shawn Michaels like tried to help him out, like this tried to do the sweet chin music. He kicked Triple H and it got me the freaking pin him for the win.
Ooh, nice.
Stuff.
And like I was like, it's so cheap, but I won. Fuck it.
You win. Good job.
Thanks, Shawn Michaels. I'm still a little weirded
I
out
have a
that his
couple
last name
favorite-
is. All right, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, finish your thing first.
I was about to say, like, I still don't understand why, I can't grasp the understand why Shawn Michaels' last name is Hickenbottom.
Yeah, I can't grasp that either. But no, I have a couple of
Go ahead.
different memories with fighting games. So I've always sucked at Soul Calibur. Always.
Right.
I will never claim to be, oh yeah, Soul Calibur's my shit. No, I've always sucked at Soul Calibur. Except for when I discovered my main girl, Talon.
Talum.
Ooh, right on.
And so the reason why she's my main girl is this is before I was like, growing up, whether it's a conservative household or a sheltered life or what have you, you had that bias being like, I'm gonna play as the boy because I am a boy, or like I'll play as the girl because I am a girl. And maybe that once in a while you'll be like, I'm gonna try something different. I'll go with the female character because fuck it, no one's gonna know, right? No, so my brothers would destroy me in Soul Calibur all fucking day long, all the time and whatnot. And it got infuriating at some point. And I tried all the guys, and I suck with every single one. And then I'm like, why not? Let's try one of the girls. Should I go for Big Boobs McGee, which is Ivy, or should I try one of the others and whatnot? And so I was like, I won't try Ivy yet. I did try her after this, but fucking, I was like, let's go with Talon. And out of nowhere, I somehow went God mode and destroyed my brother with only one hit on me in the entire match.
Wow.
And
Nice.
I was like,
I always like Taki the best of all the Street or not Street Fighter or Soul Calibur characters.
The OG
because of that
waifu.
moment, but because of that moment, Talon will forever be my main girl, especially in Soul Calibur 4 when her special secret weapon is both Soul Calibur and Soul Edge as both her weapons. I'm like, ha! Good shit.
I have another one actually.
I can respect that.
Finish, man.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sonny?
Okay, another one I have is, if you guys remember back in the there was Guilty Gear X2 or Cross 2.
Yeah. Yep.
And I couldn't find the main for a little bit for the life of me, but then all of a sudden I started playing Soul Bad Guy. I was like,
Mhm.
and I started getting really good with him. I started pretty much hitting all these combos and everything, and pretty much I started rolling ass a little bit with him, so to speak. One time we were me and a few friends of ours. We went to one of these malls over in Colorado. They had this whole video game kind of bar area or not barcade or the sort of thing where you have tournaments and things like that for like console games, things like that, and they were happen to play Guilty Gear X2 and everything. And one of my best moments is I was using Soul and everything, and I started learning more about using Soul from them at the same time. Though I started beating a few of the high ranking characters a little bit here and there, but at the same time they would beat the living crap out of me here and there. So that was one of my favorite moments of that, so to speak.
One of my favorite moments is just does anyone here remember Major Magics? I'm sure all of you guys remember Major Magics, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
I just remember one time I ended up playing a Tekken Tag Tournament with one of the guys there for like half an hour or something like that. It was just some random guy I'd never met. I was just like, "Hey, can I play?" So we like ended up playing for like over a half an hour. I want to say, I don't remember the guy. I don't remember what he looks like. I just remember that one moment. So.
Well, if anyone ever says, "Do you remember Major Magics?" that means they are old enough. They are legal. You can go for that.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
you're pretty much right.
If you don't remember Major Magics, she's too young for you, bro. Walk away.
Right.
Just
Or didn't grow up in Toledo.
I mean, yeah, we're definitely
can't bring up Major Magics without bringing.
we're definitely people of a certain
Utah
age
right
now.
next to it.
Right.
I'm playing Guilty Gear Strive at the most current Guilty Gear game, and I just ended up constantly trying to practice with Soul in that game too.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah.
So while you're playing that game, and Potemkin is not your main.
Soul's not my main. I'm still practicing with him, so to speak, but
All right.
Let's see here. Another story when it comes to fighting games. So in general, I'm not that good at fighting games. I can go with some friends here and there, like Smash and Marvel vs. Capcom and shit and whatnot. All of that.
I'm good at Smash Brothers, and that's about it.
Yeah. When it comes to my brother, though, the only fighting game I've actually been good at beating them, the first Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. Yeah,
what game?
That first game.
You're already
Naruto
cut out
Ultimate
from
Ninja
him,
Storm.
yeah. Hey,
Okay.
Quinn, not to interrupt, man, but I'm gonna go and get some food stuff. I'm gonna have to let you go then, man. All right.
All right. Well, you have a good night, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
All right, guys. Good talking to y'all.
All right.
Nice
I'm
meeting
going to
you.
go out in a moment because I got to get part of
Later.
my dinner ready as well. Unless you guys don't
Chris
mind if I
is
just
leaving?
leave the camera and I just come back when ready.
Oh yeah, you could do that. But you're related to one of my stories, Chris. Actually,
Okay, then. And start talking.
I'll make it quick. So when it comes to my brothers, though, the only game I've not been able to beat them at every fucking time was Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm because just the game was made for me. Plain and simple. That game was made for me. And I destroy them. But my favorite story when it comes to fighting games, the one time at Chris's party, we had tournaments for who could shave that fucker's head.
I know this story now.
I'm intrigued.
So we played.
Yeah, I forgot. You weren't there, Quentin.
Yeah.
Then
Quinn
again, to be
was
fair, I
not
sometimes
there.
forget who the hell to invite during my parties at points.
No, it's fine.
There was 16 people in that tournament. I beat
Woo!
them all.
I could have swore there
So,
was
like-
less.
No, yeah, maybe I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was 16 because we went through like 6 or 8 different games. Smash Bros was basically the definitive, like the final, like the top 4 and then the top 2. You know.
Right.
But yeah, we did like 6 different games. I barely survived in each round and shit. And against Smash Bros, me and Joe got the first and second place, and fucking me and Joe are duking it out. We had like what 3 or 5 lives.
Yeah, you guys were neck and neck. And I know you were hell bent on wanting to win at all costs.
Yeah. So we had like. I was hell bent, man. I was determined. The fact that I could shave you bald was enough to be like, I'm going all out. And Joe chose Dunk
That
Talk.
is
He was
determination.
like, I'm going to
Yeah.
choose the big, strong hitbox monster. Yeah, Joe's like, DK, I'm a call. Nah, fucking, and then I'm like, no, I'm taking my girl. Because I ain't fucking taking a chance with you, motherfucker. I would destroy you with Cloud, but I already used him last round. I destroy you with Mewtwo, but that's against the rules for whatever fucking reason. I destroy you with Corrin, but he's mostly good for his counter. No, I used Bayonetta. And I spanked that monkey that day. Fucking, I remember we were both at over 100% damage.
What?
I know I got pretty
Fucking
close
we were
during that last moment. And honestly, I was quite frankly, in my head cheering for Joe to win just so I could see you in disappointment.
Nah, so we both get to like over 100% damage and everything, right? Like we're both like over that threshold of any attack and set us the fuck off. And he's winding up his DK punch, and I'm charging Bayonetta's fucking hand and whatnot, and I smash him by a split-second difference. And at first, everyone's like, DK flew off. And no, it shows I won, and I just jump up. His head is mine!
All right, we got a new challenger. All right, let's hope his camera turns on, though.
Yeah.
It's his phone, last I checked.
I had to do testing before I officially came in first. And to make sure I worked.
Right.
We do not see anything, Ross, if you can even hear us. We don't even hear anything either.
Right. So, this is Sir Snooty in the dark. Just trying to wonder where life been.
No, Quinn. No, I'm sorry, Quinn. This is Sir Snooty Black.
Ah, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Maybe there he is. I think he's frozen.
He is frozen.
No,
By the way, he's level 35 today.
Today's
happy
birthday?
birthday.
Happy birthday.
5.
Oh, there you are.
He's alive.
Yeah. I'm not dead. Nope. Yep. I'm perfectly good.
Good. Your camera was not working for a moment there.
Yes, Sir Snooty Black.
Yep.
All right. Well, you want to introduce yourself, Mr.
Yes.
Snooty?
I am the good Sir Snooty, also known as Toss. And I'm here to provide some perspectives to who's watching.
Understandable. All right. So, to start off, since you just showed up, the first question I asked everybody: what was the very first fighting game you ever played?
Oh boy. It was back in the SNES days, probably Street Fighter.
That's what most of us played here.
So actually, the first one I technically played was Street Fighter 2 in an arcade in a bowling alley I used to go to.
Which alley?
Interstate Lanes.
Ooh, I haven't been in there in a grip, dude.
Same here. I used to go there all the time when I was in elementary school because we had a nice little bowling after-school bowling league there.
Yeah. Wait, you were in a bowling team?
Yeah, it was like after-school bowling league. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I would not expect that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was only with Glenwood. I'm not sure if the other three Rossford schools had it at the time, but yeah.
All right, so
I'll be back in a moment, guys. I'm gonna get part of my dinner ready.
It's because you don't even tell the story of how Sam cut your hair. Yeah. They were just telling me about the tournament they had at Chris's house.
Oh
And,
yes.
yeah.
Yep, the tournament to cut
Yes,
Chris's
he
hair
must
because
sit
a lot
down
of
with
the time
story.
we
Let
had
me
to tell
bait,
him
baby.
either he shaves his head or he keeps if he's gonna keep his hair long he has to keep the beard, or we shave his head and he keeps the beard.
I think I look
Yeah.
better this way anyway.
Yes.
You do. Whenever you have a shaved
I
head,
shall return.
like facial hair, I'm just like, ah, that's a sexy Chris right there.
Yep.
I gotta be honest. The first time I saw him with a goatee, I thought he was gonna wear Spock's freaking hairdo. You look like evil Spock. Because
Well, yeah,
honestly,
no.
if go ahead.
Oh no, you finish your thing first.
All right. And like before that, we were talking about our favorite fighting game moments in our own personal history. Was there something that you had?
Oh, I've had a few. One of my funniest ones that I think I can remember. I have a couple of them. One was at Owens when Tekken Tag 2 came out. Like it was literally like that day we were playing it in the shack.
Yeah. Okay, I remember.
Yeah,
I actually remember.
I think it was like Sergio who brought it or somebody. I forget who brought the game, but we were playing it. And at one point, Clarence was playing a match with Ganryu,
Yeah,
big sumo guy. And he kept doing the thing where he would palm smack a dude for like the whole match, and the whole time that's happening, Clarence is just going, accept it, accept it, accept it, accept it. Smacking this dude, it's doing like, like a pea shooter against a rock type damage. But he's doing that for like 5 minutes and then straight up drop kicks a dude and he wins.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
That
another
sounds like
one
Clarence.
was we were playing MKX. And we were playing we were doing pressure luck fights, so the random slot things. And we were playing on the marketplace level in that game where the old lady is. Or as we call
Blanche?
her. Yeah, we call her Miss Blanche or Miss Jenkins.
Yeah.
And we were having so much fun throwing her. And at one point during one of our matches, the pressure luck only had it's made it so like the area of fighting was so little. So like we'd smack against the walls. And at one point she walks into where we could grab her. We're like, Miss Jenkins, no, what are you doing? Don't walk in there. Don't walk in there. And no, Miss Jenkins, no. And then throw her.
No.
And this is before the update, because like eventually they upped it when they put brutalities in that game. You could use her. And it was hilarious because there was 2 different ways you could use her to kill somebody brutality. There was the one where you throw her at her and they explode. And then there's the one where you throw her at her and she beats you up.
The
disrespect.
Yes.
Jeez.
Guys, I'm actually going to be jumping off now here. Just FYI, I need to get to do a couple things before I go hit the hay here. So
that's fine.
I will.
Well, it's also having you.
Yeah. So good to talk to you guys here, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Yep.
All right, peace.
All right.
Later.
Later.
Yeah.
And then there were 4.
Yes.
I love.
Oh man, like, all right, and I was just talking about wrestling a while ago, but I guess like some of the conversations I was talking about, like we both kind of like I think like 3 of us, like me, Chris, and Grant, agreed that like in some ways, wrestling is a fighting game. It's just in its own subgenre.
Yes. It's not actually fighting.
So it's more like yes, but not quite.
It's a fighting show, if you will.
Right. But you want to elaborate on that?
Because, well, for some that don't, I mean, yes, especially if you're talking WWE-wise, they call themselves sports entertainment because it practically is a sport because you train for it, you participate, you compete and stuff. But like, you're not acting unless you're doing like if we're going to talk straight punching and kicking, no, you're not really hitting them. Because especially when they throw punches, what they do is they hit them like this, open fist. Because you're not supposed to hit somebody with a closed fist. Otherwise, people like the wrestlers will hate you. And that's known as potatoing.
Yeah.
And it's the thing with kicking. Whenever they do kicks, they put it close to your face, and some of them smack the leg so you make the effect.
Yeah.
But like tackling, throwing them down, smacking with chairs, no, those are real hits.
So I guess in that case, like, what was your first wrestling game?
WrestleMania, the arcade game.
My man.
Dude, I freaking love that. And I played both versions of it because they had its own arcade port, and when they ported it to consoles, they got SNES and Genesis, but they were both pretty much the same, except the Genesis version had 2 extra guys.
Yeah. I actually prefer the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
Because I just told Grant, like, like way before, like, my favorite character is Bret Hart.
Good old Hitman.
Oh man, like especially how the graphics was back in the day, where you knocked the stuffing out of them, like Undertaker. You got bats, freaking or was it ghosts? Was it bats?
Ghosts. I think it was Ghosts.
Oh
or something.
yeah, it was ghosts. And Razor Ramon has all that freaking sweat and grease, flying off of him.
Shawn Michael had the hearts.
Yeah.
I think Bret had them too.
Yeah, like it was really fun. Like especially we were. And especially, me and Tony, he was here earlier. We were talking about how, the difference between simulation and arcade. It's kind of like how people would assume like WWE All Stars when it came out back then was a simulator. I said no, it's an arcade wrestling game.
Yep, because it was called that because it was originally in the arcades.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of like differentiating Gran Turismo to Burnout. You got more of a tactical, more methodical race, with Gran Turismo, where you got more of a TNA type of style of, blowing shit up.
Is, you're racing, but it wants you to crash.
Yeah. So yeah, like. So I guess, like, in some ways, a lot of people will literally confuse everything with wrestling if they don't differentiate simulation and arcade.
I can see it, but yeah, it's like if you don't really know how wrestling works, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been watching wrestling since I was a small child.
As he starts the Black Parade song, but yeah, no, I was kidding. I'm kidding. But
I was around during the Monday Night Wars. I was around during the height of that.
Man, me and my brother tried to freaking steal cable from my neighbors just to watch wrestling. Oh man, like we were straight wrestling junkies.
Same, and for a long time I wasn't able to, like, with the time it was on, I was only able to watch like an hour of it because as a child I had I had bedtime and it would be on. I was only able to like watch an hour of it.
Yeah, and actually, you can actually ask me, like, talk to me with this. AEW.
What about it?
Okay, so they're coming out with Fight Forever.
Yep.
And they're actually going back to the 64 era of fighting.
And I'm fine with that.
I was about to say, what's your take on it?
Hey, if it goes back to the old, because I haven't played the last 2K gameplay I tried playing was 15, and I didn't like it. Because because it became too elaborate to try and do certain things, and it was a pain. It was a pain to try, because I like to play submissions.
Right.
And like the way they have submissions do now, you have to press like 3 buttons and do a thing, and then do more things, and your quick timing submissions. Like, no, just let me beat the crap out of them, and then do the special moves, and like you have to aggressively tap the button to try and get out instead of sequencing.
Right. I missed the button mashing though. I
still say, as far as like pure wrestling, no mercy. WWF, no mercy for the 64.
Oh yeah, straight up. I think I'm also call it like WCW versus NWO Definitive Edition.
That's
basically what it is.
Yeah, like if you're gonna go straight WWF straight one, no mercy, but WCW NWO Revenge, good stuff. I would always play as THQ man or Mortis.
Mortis?
Yep.
I couldn't say I know that one.
The wrestler Canyon?
Yeah.
That was him. Because the only way to get Mortis, he had to... Chris Canyon. And he was the one who did Mortis.
Yeah. And thank you for that meme, Sinan. I just looked at it.
You're welcome. I'm part of a morbid humor group.
That's funny.
Honestly, I mean, I would be that person that would work in the morgue and somebody comes in and say, "Do you take walk-ins?" Excuse me, like
Wait, what? Wait, what?
Oh, dude.
Oh, that's like speaking of morgue jokes. There's one I used to like to do with you. I don't get them much anymore, but the old telemarketer days. Like, welcome to Jim's morgue. You stab him, we slab him.
Actually, mine was SmackDown Hotel. You smack the governor, you get 3 free nights.
Just remember, kids, don't steal. The government hates competition.
That is true.
I mean, that's a fact.
Yep.
Oh man, like
I
yeah,
have returned.
Hey, he's back.
Yep.
Welcome back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys got me about 10 more minutes, and I gotta vacate.
That's fine.
Actually, I'm going to be closing in like about the last couple of minutes. So I guess the last
perfect
question
timing,
I could ask, what would be something that would get you back and watching wrestling or playing wrestling games again?
If they change the how look, if AEW Fight Forever goes back to the way the old days of wrestling games, I would totally be in it because I still watch it.
Right.
But as far as the games, they have to make it totally different controls. That is not a pain in the ass to do simple things.
Oh man. Especially with some of the
If
freaking
I-
64 games,
Yep.
64 games coming out for the expansion pack. That's kind of close to relatable.
Yeah, and one of them is going to be GoldenEye.
I was surprised that GoldenEye's coming to the Switch and gonna have some online service to go with it.
I wonder
Like-
if people are going to follow the old. I wonder if people follow the old school GoldenEye rule: no odd job, no jaws.
By no means.
Let's find out.
I use Jaws and still lose. Like,
By no means am I surprised that they finally brought GoldenEye to the Switch. If anything, I'm surprised it took them this long to do it. That's what I'm surprised about.
My only
Honestly-
gripe for it would be if they kept the old school controls. If they're going to bring it back, update the controls a little bit.
Yeah.
That was one of my concerns too, seeing that announcement. Since
Like,
we did
about
try
the-
playing that, well, you guys tried playing in that game during one of the parties, and you said that apparently controls don't really hold up to this day.
No, the controls for GoldenEye did not age well at all.
No, honestly, anyone that says GoldenEye still well, take your nostalgia goggles off, please.
Yes.
right.
Yeah, apparently you haven't been playing a lot of either. You've been playing too much modern first-person shooters, or you haven't been playing any at all.
Right.
Or the only thing they've ever played is GoldenEye, and they've
Well-
never played anything else.
Well, they also have to understand, like, even within the logic of like the 007 series, he's always been more of a methodical, tactical type of agent. He always
Yeah.
takes more slower walks than
I mean,
it's
you
just
were a
run a
spy,
gun.
so you can't just go in guns blazing.
Right. So things
Yeah.
needed tact. So I think Rare was kind of thinking before they were doing stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you can say, I think it's Rare. Ha 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 ha.
Ah, I mean, I always like to play as Boris.
Right.
I am invincible.
Just freaking use my freaking hands with jaws, just freaking chop people.
My favorite gun was the RCP-90.
Mine was the club.
The worst game, the worst gun in the game. That was named after like one of the developers or something.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't
my other big thing was what are they gonna bring back the fun little little cheats that they have?
Because if they don't, I'm
They
killing
should,
my
honestly.
expansion pack subscription. I'm just saying.
Right. If you're gonna bring back GoldenEye, you better bring back the fun cheats. You don't need all of them. You only need I'd say you only need 3 of them. For my personal taste, you need big head mode, DK mode, and paintball mode. That's all you need.
Disco.
I don't
Well,
remember
fingers
that one.
crossed it's gonna be. I keep them.
Was Disco on Perfect Dark also?
I think
Couldn't
so.
tell you.
I mean, I know
And
we
it-
talked about cheat codes, that's for sure.
And yeah, people want to get shit about people playing the Golden Gun in GoldenEye. Like, yeah, it one-shot you, but it only had like one bullet, so if you miss, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Perfect Dark came out with an even more bullshit gun. The Farsight. The gun that could literally see through walls, lock on you through said walls, and if you're really good at it, you can actually shoot through the walls.
My personal favorite from
Really?
Perfect Dark is
My
the
nephew
laptop
did
gun.
show me that years ago when he
The
got
laptop
Perfect Dark.
gun does wonders.
Yeah, it's just basically a you basically take it's basically a portable turret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Rare, like Microsoft can get their head out of their ass and bring that port to
I don't know if they go the way of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. I don't. Oof.
Let's hope not. I mean, that's the best we can do.
When I first saw my eyes on Nuts and Bolts through a demo played by my cousins, I knew, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
This is not Banjo-Kazooie.
And what's that freaking haircut?
It's something.
Like I looked at it. So
Banjo-Kazooie
no, I
game.
looked. So why is Banjo looking like TJ Combo so bad? Like,
and why'd they make him fat?
you know.
Real talk.
Just why?
And like, yeah, that may have been horrible, but what? No, I still think what they did to my poor Conker was even worse.
The less we talk about that, the better.
Exactly.
All right. With that being said, I would like to thank Chris and Search Nudity for showing up for my show. Also, the guests of Grant and Tony. Thank you for even bringing your asses in here, speaking your opinions. And with that being said, I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So with that being said, I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Until next time.
Till next time. Man.